Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for this latest discussion in the CasinoBeats series about innovation in slots. Specifically today, we'll be chatting about the rising influence of slot streaming. For those that don't know me, I'm Stewart Darkin. I'm the Managing Director of CasinoBeats. For those that do know me, hello. I'm joined today by a very nice balance of contributors. So we have a streamer or a leader of a leading streaming company, leading supplier and leading operator as well. So that'll be Hammon, who's the Chief Product Officer of Relax Gaming, Tobias Svensen, who's CEO of CasinoGrounds, and Johan Ekberg, who's Group Casino Games Manager at LeoVegas. Gents, good day to you. I hope you're well wherever you are. I wonder if each of you might just in turn do a short introduction, if that's okay, just a minute or two on your role and why you're relevant to a streamer conversation, if that's okay. Maybe Simon, if we could start to you, then go to Tobias.
Good stuff. Good afternoon. Excited to be part of this panel. Simon Hammon, Chief Product Officer for Relax Gaming. For those who don't know Relax Gaming, we are both a content provider, but also an aggregation service. Been at Relax 2 to 3 years. Prior to that, working only in the B2B side. I think this conversation is very relevant, especially given the dynamics of content provision in the market and the competition. So of course, suppliers accessing new affiliate media and giving voice and views to our content is very important. So yeah, it's an increasing awareness part of who we are as a supplier and our reach to the market.
Cool. Should I jump in? My name is Tobias. I'm the CEO of CasinoGrounds. For those not familiar, CasinoGrounds is an affiliate company where we focus a lot on video content creation or streaming, as the kind of hot topic is today. CasinoGrounds was founded more or less exactly 5 years ago now by a couple of the original casino streamers out there. About a year later, LeoVegas Gaming acquired 51%, and I was currently working as a country manager for Norway there. However, I was also the one that initiated casino streamers with LeoVegas in the early days and kind of set the framework for that. So I made a move over to CasinoGrounds, and for the last 5 years, we have been growing a lot in terms of all areas, I would say, but we are one of the biggest video producers for gaming, and working closely with both the operators and the suppliers to allow for new ways of marketing, innovation, and cool products, basically.
All right, thank you, Tobias and Simon. My name is Johan. I'm the Casino Games Manager for LeoVegas Group. Been working with LeoVegas for about 5.5 years now in a few different roles, but started with casino operations around 4.5 years ago. Obviously, LeoVegas, casino operator, founded back in 2012. Kept going for a few years with just LeoVegas. Then we acquired a few other brands, Royal Panda, a few of the UK brands, Pink Casino, Bet21, etc. And obviously, we also have a very close collaboration together with CasinoGrounds, who's part of the group as well. So very happy to be here and look forward to discussing anything streamer related.
Thanks, Johan. Thanks all. Tobias, you talked a little bit about the birth of CasinoGrounds then, and the relationship with Leo as well. And one of my big questions, the first questions, is where did you come from? Where did the streamers come from? When did you? I mean, that's quite a big stepping off point to sell half of the business to LeoVegas. I mean, people obviously were backing this early. How did this come about? Were these video game streamers? Were they poker players? How did you? Because you have some personalities that are real personalities in the sector, not just. They're not just reviewers, right? There are people that have a very high profile. And I'm just wondering about how that galvanized, how you actually found the formula.
So essentially how CasinoGrounds was started was it began very, very simple. So if you look at the founders of CasinoGrounds, you have Kim Holtman, or Let's Give It a Spin, which is his streamer handle, Nick Preston, or Nick Slots, together with another third person who has a large or a long experience within affiliation. I would say about 17, 18 years in total at this point, primarily poker back in the days. And this third person was actively looking for a new venture and started looking, into YouTube and Twitch and these kind of new up and coming platforms. And he stumbled across Kim, Let's Give It a Spin, and his casino stream in a very early stage. And if you take Kim, Let's Give It a Spin history, it's quite fun. He was a professional poker player. He's lived in Macau. He's lived in London. That was his full-time job. He's kind of been a professional gambler since he turned 18. And he was essentially the start of his stream was him sitting at home in his couch with his laptop. He had a couple of friends over. Friday night, they were going out together, having some beers, and he was essentially just playing some slots. And he ended up getting a massive win and started jumping and screaming and celebrating. And Kim has this very fun, likable personality. And one of his friends that was there was looking at it, at Kim, and say, Kim, this is really fun to watch. You should stream it. And Kim, not really aware of, Twitch, YouTube, how it worked, he said, it would be really cool to have somebody to talk to or, engage with while I'm playing, and I don't have anyone here, to make it a bit more social. So he set up a Twitch account, started to do a couple of streams. He didn't do any affiliation or anything like that. He just did it because he wanted some company or shared experience. And at this point, I stumbled across him. I wanted to learn a bit more about gaming, so I ended up watching his stream mid-November 2015. And I quickly realized, me myself being a gambler, I always like to learn and educate myself. And I figured that by watching him, this was a more experienced, more knowledgeable person than me when it came to casino, yet it was presented in a very entertaining format. So I ended up watching him for a while, and it became this kind of frequent entertainment part for me as a viewer. And then after a month or so, I realized that I've switched the casino I was playing at to match the casino he was playing at. Because obviously, as a more knowledgeable person, that means it's probably a better product. And then I had this light bulb experience. I decided to move to Malta to start working in gaming. I started working at LeoVegas, and the first thing I did was to make a deal with him and kind of actively do cool stuff as a LeoVegas representative. And from that point, it kind of spiraled into CasinoGrounds being formed. And we wanted to create this forum, which was a safe place where everyone had the same interest, where everyone could upload their videos, their images, comment on each other. And I would say this is kind of the start of the streaming era. So the beginning of 2016, there were some in 2015. And then quite quickly, this category on Twitch became more and more popular. People really liked the fact that you got, education or tips how to play optimally with bonuses, how they actually work, different types of games you might not have seen. And slowly the category started to increasing. You got more and more people that wanted to start streaming, and at some point the iGaming industry started to open its eyes up for this part of affiliation or marketing. And the nice thing about streaming is that it's also marketing or branding for an operator or a game provider, because it's not just a plain written text about it. It's you're actually showcasing the product in a very exciting, fun way. And as time passed, we see a lot of opportunities. We started working closely with both game providers and operators. doing, exclusive game launches where we managed to get access an hour before everyone else, and could showcase the game and have some kind of fun giveaway. We even did some really unique stuff where we had custom sports bet, where you can actually bet on results based on the first 100 spins of a game. And I would say it was really in 2018, 2019, where it started becoming this big category on Twitch. And it also followed a lot of the technology advancements and user behaviors online, where more and more people moved towards video content versus the traditional text format. And today, I think it's about 80 or a bit over 80% of everyone prefers, learning about something through video rather than reading about it. And as the audience grew, it became this snowball effect. More and more people started doing it. More and more people started watching it. And suddenly the streamers or the influencers of the casino world got more and more reach and more opportunities. And from that, it's developed into this very important part of an operator or game provider's way of showcasing their new products and their innovation and how they work. It's free for the user to watch it. So it's very, very easy to be able to have a look at it. And at this point, we have a bunch of streaming communities. You have hundreds, if not thousands, of casino streamers, and it's become a really hot topic. So it's super exciting to have been a part of this journey. I think we're still just in the start phase, so to say. And I'm really looking forward to see even more innovative or interesting ways that we could help both the game providers and the operators to just make everything a bit more fun.
It's very interesting from a supplier perspective, because I would say suppliers and affiliate media have never been natural bedfellows, especially if you look back at the last sort of 5-10 years. But the market has shifted dramatically. Now I think any operator is launching, anywhere between 70 to 100 games a month, and you're trying to engage the player community to understand more about your product. So the rise of streamers is a great vehicle for us as a supplier to showcase our product. When it's launched on an operator website, traditionally you might have had a couple of weeks visibility. Players would want to sort of try out the new game or the latest game and understand it. But the reality is your shop window is so much smaller now. You might have 1-2 days visibility, and it's either going to resonate or it's not. So the streamer community really brings out that product, showcases the potential. And gives visibility of the features, the functionality, the excitement, the entertainment behind what we're trying to create. So it's an exciting way for us to help broadcast to the end player the product we're creating. And I think it's fair to say that the suppliers probably didn't catch on to this super quickly. I think it was 1 or 2 early adopters from the supplier point. I think, to be fair, BTG actually were one of the original suppliers to embrace streamers in terms of showcasing the product. And I think that's probably had a very positive impact on some of the Megaways titles, especially like Bonanzas and so on and so forth. I think today, we create games, we're slot players, our game designers are slot players, but you need to keep in tune with what the player community wants, whether it's good or bad. It's a great visibility into that. It's a great feedback forum in many respects, and it's a great advertising forum. So a couple of years ago, most suppliers didn't really think about affiliate media budget spends. Streamers have changed that. It's quite a considerable part of what we are looking at from a marketing budget, to make sure that we are getting the right product in front of the streamers to showcase to their players at the end of the day. So it's a great way for us to I wouldn't say bypass the operators to create player demand. That's not the goal. I think it's to assist that. And if players are enjoying what they're seeing on the stream, the likelihood is that they'll want to play it on the operator's website, and of course that is where we generate the revenue together. So yeah, it's opened up a new visible format for the products that we create, and I think that's becoming more important now in the wake of so much more competition.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you. Johan, then, in terms of the supply chain for games, what we've seen is some dramatic changes to the infrastructure, as Tobias and Simon have set out there. As the player is the end recipient, I guess, but as the next step along, the operator, it's what benefits have you seen?
So one main benefit as an operator that's coming together with the streaming community is that we are, we're getting access to actual player conversations between each other, which we don't necessarily see on the operator side. As with any business, if you're a customer for any site, the times you contact customer support is when you actually have an issue that you need solved. So you're not actually getting any discussions with the players about new regulations, new games, new promotional features, etc. But in both the Twitch chats, when the streamers are playing live, or on the forums that often comes with these communities, we do get a lot of valuable feedback from what the actual player base thinks about the changes that's happening in our industry. Another really big thing is what both Simon and Tobias touched upon, which is the game releases. As Simon said, most operators nowadays probably release between 15 and 25 games a week, which obviously with limited exposure that you can give in the lobbies, you can't necessarily give the exposure to every game that deserves it. And this is where we tend to work a lot with the streamers, especially over at CasinoGrounds, to actually give exposure to a game that we don't necessarily have the ability to push directly on site. This is something that's super exciting to do with exclusive releases, as well as Tobias said, give access to Kim or Nick Slots or some other streamer, let them play the games for a few hours before it gets released to the rest of the player base at LeoVegas. And it also seems to be something that the players really enjoy. One thing I want to highlight as well is the streamer tournaments that they have started to do now. I think the latest one was on West Coast versus East Coast from No Limit, where you actually have the three streamers playing against each other, trying to score the highest, which me personally as well, I think is really fun to watch.
Yeah, I suppose, Tobias, you said at the top about it still being the beginning phase, really. And as Johan says, you're starting to find more opportunities all the time. And I'm just wondering, what the end game is, whether all operators will have a stake in streamer, whether all suppliers will work with streamers.
I mean, I definitely think we have a very strong foundation. I think we always want to innovate, experiment, try new things. I think the tournaments are a great example. There's also other forms of gamification layers you can have, or interesting statistics. But one thing I think CasinoGrounds sticks a bit out from a lot of the others, not all of them, but some of the other, especially the newer ones, is that we kind of also try to stick to our core. We wanna stay a bit in the casual where Kim just sat in his sofa and had fun, and at the end of the day we wanna share a genuine gambling experience. So we don't wanna we want to keep it as transparent and as authentic as possible. We don't compromise on quality for short-term gains, in the sense that we avoid promoting, operators with a bad reputation of slow payments or a poor product offering or bad terms for the users. So I think, we want to build on that strong foundation where we actually take the user, have that in the focus. But obviously, there are a lot of cool ways to innovate. I think something definitely worth mentioning here is the cooperation we had together with Relax Gaming, where myself, Let's Give It a Spin, and one of the other founders were actively a part of the game creation of the game Iron Bank, where Relax actually gave us an opportunity to both take our own passion and knowledge about slots, but also we see a lot of what the community are talking about. We see what they like and not, and kind of compile this into feedback or ideas and such that we can translate into an actual product with a partner such as Relax. And I think the Iron Bank was extremely fun to be a part of as a slot nerd myself, to actually see the inner works, and Relax was an amazing partner in this case, where they really proved to us that they take us seriously, they respect our opinion, and they're willing to take chances and do things a bit differently. And I also think the end results, both from an experience point of view, but also from a result point of view, show that this was a very successful project and very exciting and something to build on as well for the future. So I hope to see more of those kind of projects, but also thinking outside of the box, constantly looking for more or better ways of entertaining the user. And I think one of the other ways would be, for example, to look at video format. We know that attention span is drastically decreasing together with technology. So I think this is something to kind of be aware of. But there's a lot of ways of doing stuff, and there's probably some really cool ideas me or others haven't thought about yet that will come. So I think there's a lot of opportunities still, and I'm super excited to kind of be a part of shaping and enjoying that journey.
If I can pick up on something that you said there, it was really interesting. When I first met Kim, it was in the offices of Yggdrasil in Sweden. Simon's on the call from Relax, and I'm aware, having spoken to you before, Tobias, about how much in demand your streamers' time is, and how actually getting them to play in front of their audience, perhaps with the stamp of approval from an operator, a new game is actually a big opportunity for the game developer. And I wonder how you talked about not trying to have some standards and quality assurance in terms of which partners you might work with. And I wonder how difficult it is for you to, you must have more people approaching you offering games than you have time available. How do you manage that? Because you don't want to be accused of favoritism or elitism because you only work with Yggdrasil and Relax and blah, blah, blah. How do you tread that path?
One of the key words in our mindset in CasinoGrounds is integrity. And as you say, we have a way higher demand than we are able to supply in terms of time and attention. And this puts us in a very nice position where we can actually take all the offers in terms of what kind of game that the providers want to promote, and we try them all, and we see which one do we like the best, which do we genuinely believe is the best products, and then we decide to work with those. So we don't compromise on quality for short-term financial gains. So if we don't like the game, even if we have the opportunity or time to promote it, we would say no to it just because this game doesn't hold the standards, or we just don't like it, and we also then know that the community or the audience probably won't like it. And I think it's very easy to see from an audience perspective if the influencer isn't genuinely passionate about something. Obviously, you can try and fake it as much as you want, but at the end of the day, it's humans watching humans, and we tend to have this kind of radar, what is genuine and not. And that's something I've tried to get into the DNA of CasinoGrounds, that we don't let others dictate what we do. We decide what we do, because at the end of the day, we know our community and ourselves best, what we like and what they like, and therefore we're quite picky who we work with and how we work with them. So we don't really compromise when it comes to our integrity.
If I could jump in a little bit. Yeah, I just wanted to touch upon it. There's been so many good things that have actually just come up from this, from a supplier point. I think it's important to highlight actually that I credit streamers in part actually with changing the way game design has been constructed generally across the industry in the last few years. Purely look at volatility as a benchmark. So if you look at that, 3-4 years ago, most games were low, medium variance, entertainment products, in short, not really focused on the big win potential. Streamers have been searching for the big win potential, which has led to a higher volatility product. So in terms of the intrinsic popularity of streamers and their dynamic impact on game design principles, that's been quite linear, amongst other things. Then we flip to the reputational aspect of the question, which was how we choose the streamers we want to work with. I mean, ultimately, the guys and girls on the streams are somewhat an additional voice or let's say verification of your reputation to some degree. So you want to work with the right people. You want to work with people who are passionate about your product and believe in your game. You also want that to resonate in terms of the reputation around you as a supplier, because I think more and more your reputation as a supplier within the player community is key. The other area is then, of course, about expanding that. We talked about, and Tobias mentioned, the collaboration project that we had. That's an exciting opportunity for us as suppliers to challenge the way we think. A lot of suppliers are quite stuck in that this is the way we do things and we know best. I think if you're not challenging yourself...
Sorry to cut in. Can I just ask you about that process, how that process was different then? How having the streamers as partners on Iron Bank, how that changed the process?
It's an interesting one, because of course you plan a roadmap. You've got very passionate game designers and product owners and mathematicians who feel they have a good idea, and usually that's done, I wouldn't want to say in closed surroundings, but it's done based upon experience. And of course you can look at BI data and all these things to structure your game design flow. But I would attribute working with a streamer quite like you'd work with a third-party brand, a licensed brand. You need to remove what you think might be right or what you feel is a good idea, and collaboration about what features work, what designs work. You need to have a third-party voice with the guys, cross-referencing. Does this look right? Is this the spirit of what they're trying to achieve? So I would say it's a far more collaborative process where typically you need to be very much more open about how you do things. A lot of approvals, a lot of discussion, quite similar to how you would have with a third-party brand. But it's a fun process because, again, you want to challenge the way you think. And I think any supplier who's now just stuck in the way that they do things is also one that's not going to achieve things moving forward. So, yeah, the process is a collaborative one. Sometimes you agree, sometimes you don't agree. But that's all part and parcel of trying to create something new. And I think that willing to challenge yourself is the key factor. So yeah, it's hopefully leads the way to more and more collaborations down the line, of course. So and just on Tobias's final point,
there will be more. There'll be more collaborations.
I think it's a natural point. If collaborations have been good and projects have been successful and the community has appreciated it, then of course there will be further collaborations with streamers down the line. And Relax wants to position itself as the forefront and very much a partner to the streamer community. So we're very much open to those projects and more successful projects down the line.
Okay, thank you. I think we can draw our own conclusions from that. I appreciate that. Johan, I'd like to come to you because if I've got... I was just going to say, Johan, what I'm interested in, having had the conversation, so come to your point, but if you can also add this, I want to know how Iron Bank did for you, right? How good it was for you, because we've heard how great this is to the process, or really the product then should be a premium product. What your view on Iron Bank was as well?
Well, I can't share any actual numbers on how our bank did for LeoVegas Group, but what I can say is that if the quality of games between Relax and CasinoGrounds keep having this standard, I'm going to be very happy. So let's put it like that.
Okay.
The one thing I want to jump in on is the collaboration between providers and streamers, which is obviously going to be mostly game focused on actually creating games that would work well within that community. This is something that we on the operator side have started to do more and more as well. We obviously want to make sure that our product sticks out compared to the competition out there. So we're working on a lot of internal features over at LeoVegas, where we happily take all the feedback we get from CasinoGrounds and the streamers and the community over there. One recent example is the Leo Jackpot, which we worked on for a real long time. Finally went live a few weeks ago or a few months ago, and this is something that we demoed for the guys over at CasinoGrounds as well. Made some tweaks to fit their needs as well.
Okay, did someone else want to speak? I think I'm not sure whether I cut them off before. Was that you, Simon?
Yeah, I just want to talk about just general product positioning within a streamer, because I think Tobias mentioned something there, which if a supplier is just trying to make sure every single game in their roadmap is positioned with a streamer, it's going to have a negative impact, actually. I think you've got to pick the right product that you feel is going to resonate with the streamer community ultimately. Imagine the circumstance where a supplier is paying a lot of money to try and get their product visible, but if it doesn't have the win potential, it doesn't have the excitement, all it's going to do is remind players every single month of reasons why not to play a certain supplier. So we're very careful at Relax not to try and push the wrong content, and we want to push games that we feel the streamers and the players will be excited about. Doesn't mean that every single game doesn't try and target different things or have different benefits of playing, but I think you've got to be careful as a supplier to position the product that you think is going to resonate. We typically choose maybe one game a quarter. If it feels right. If it doesn't feel right, it'll probably have a negative impact actually trying to push it aggressively with the streamer community, because it's just not going to resonate. So I think you have to be very careful as a supplier, not just to look at the streamer community as a visual medium or a discussion medium about a game, because it can actually have quite a detrimental impact to your reputation and your game numbers if you push the wrong product as well.
Yeah, it's quite similar over on the operator side as well. We do obviously work with a lot of different game suppliers, and since we have the relationship with CasinoGrounds, we do tend to get a lot of questions about how can we work together with CasinoGrounds, and this is where I try to feedback as well to the suppliers that as long as you release a game that I think will fit well with maybe a streamer promotion, or just have Kim play it for a couple of spins on launch day, I will help you approach CasinoGrounds. But if they contact me with a game that I know for a fact that the streamers are not going to like and CasinoGrounds are not going to want to do anything with it, then I give that feedback as well. So it's not like I'm not trying to make any decisions for Tobias here, but I'm also trying to help him with his workload a little bit so he doesn't get too flooded with requests from suppliers every week.
Yeah. Are you flooded with requests?
That was a question for Johan, right? Johan and his team is doing a fantastic job. I mean, LeoVegas, I used to work there. I know Johan since for almost 5 years at this point. Both him, his team, and LeoVegas do have a very good understanding of who we are, what we are about. So I think they're doing a tremendous job in filtering out stuff that would automatically be a no anyway from our end. And also, especially the latest year, as you mentioned, the Leo Jackpot, and there's other really cool, exciting things coming as well, where we do sit down and we do give our input and feedback. And I think, that's how you stay ahead of the game, so to say. And I think in an ocean of operators with very similar, product offering, the devil is in the details. And I think companies like LeoVegas and also many others of the good operators are increasingly, looking for more new cool features or things to differentiate. And I think it's super exciting and humbling that they do include us in the process. And I also, not so humble, think we can contribute with a lot of very cool stuff. So I see it as a very natural cooperation, not only with LeoVegas, but with all high quality operators. And I think there's going to be a lot of really interesting things coming the next 6 months or a year. So super exciting for that to get out, and also super exciting to see it being live streamed and explained and showcased through our channels.
I'm glad you talked about the future, not just the next 6 months and your current projects, but beyond that. And we have 5 minutes or so left. So it'd be quite nice if we could just. It was quite good to hear what Johan said, actually, because it really typifies the quick growth of the sector. That as an operator, he's already thinking about the streaming process. It's already part of his thinking when he's talking to suppliers.
All right. So no, I think you're bringing up a very important topic. As we were the early adopters of the streaming scene, we could kind of set a strong foundation. And it's been really important for me from the beginning that, we see our streamers as ambassadors, both for the game providers and the operators. So we take a lot of care in terms of educating them in responsible gaming and how they can translate this education to their audience. We have very high standard when it comes to ethics, so all our streamers are playing with their own fun, which means that both the highs and the lows are genuine experience. And some of the issues that have arisen, especially maybe the last couple of years, is the problem on what's being called in the community as fake money streamers. And in short, this is various solutions where the operator would add the funds to the account that are non-withdrawable or any other kind of special deal. And the challenge here is that when those particular streamers that would use these methods, they're not open or transparent towards their audience about it, it creates an unrealistic experience for the audience. Because if in reality it's not actual their money, losing 20, 30, 40, 50,000 euros a day doesn't really affect them. And it creates this very unrealistic picture of gambling that you only highlight when you would win hundreds and thousands, but in reality they take zero risk and don't really focus around the fact that to get that €500,000 win or €1 million win, there's actually a lot of days where you lose a significant amount of money. So I think this is a topic that will be very increasingly more focused on in 2021 and 2022, which is the ethics around streaming. And I think it's a huge risk for the streaming category as a whole when you have these individuals playing 50, 100, 200, 500 euros per spin over a longer amount of time, because it's just not sustainable for anyone, not even a streamer that, not even the biggest streamer would be able to sustain those losses over time. So there needs to be some kind of under the table agreement with the operator somehow. So this is something we look very negatively on, and we see now actually that even the game providers and the operators are starting to reach out to us and say sort of, how can we help in getting this away? Because it does create a big risk in terms of creating problem gamblers. It's a very low or non-existing focus on responsible gaming as a whole. And it's also other potential risks, PR, negative PR attention. What we've been trying to do is break the taboo about gambling, playing at sensible stakes relative to income, educate the players about responsible gaming, bankroll management, the various tools you have to limit your gameplay to maintain a safe level. And then you have these other parties, and I'm definitely not speaking about all. There's a lot of our competitors that are super, serious, ethical, and we're playing on the same field. But you do have some individuals that are not doing so, and kind of constantly pushing the stakes. And recently you see videos where people do 50,000 euros or dollar bonus buys, and obviously this is not sustainable over time unless you're a very, very wealthy individual. And it also it just creates this unrealistic picture of gambling. We want to keep it responsible, fun, and also relatable for our audience in terms of stakes. But it's a very positive sign. There's now a lot of game providers and operators that do come to us and kind of want to create a discussion. How can we set some similar guidelines to ensure that we keep it at a responsible level, where we do provide authentic experiences with responsible gaming in mind, and make sure that we don't destroy all the work we have done the last 5-6 years in kind of making gambling less taboo, but also educating how to do it in a smart and sustainable way for the players.
Yeah, sure. No, I think Tobias hit all the right points there. In the end, when we have a streamer playing at LeoVegas or any of other brands, they are in a way representing us externally out to the player base. And this is where we really want them to act in a responsible way, in a realistic way when they are gambling on our sites. If you have players, like Tobias said, doing 50,000 euro feature buys and they're barely faced when they don't get half the money back, even, you're not creating a real gambling experience for your viewers. And I mean, the gambling industry is under higher and higher pressure from other regulators. Responsible gambling is an extremely hot topic at the moment, and streamers are in a way ambassadors for gambling online. So I think it's very important that they actually help us out here by providing a real responsible experience for the viewers, who in the end, you never know. You might have people jump in on stream for the first time and they see someone winning 100,000 and they think it's super easy. They've never gambled before. And that will obviously create a problem. Some young guy just turned 18, playing away all his savings or something like that. So no, we are really hard with the streamers that are actually actively playing on LeoVegas as well, that we do want them to provide a real experience. Play with your own money, do it in a sensible way. Keep highlighting during the streams as well. If you hit a big win, that this is not something common. I was extremely lucky, but then also showing the losses when you play, because that's something that a lot of streamers don't necessarily do. That they're not transparent with how much money actually went in order to get that big win.
That's one of the lovely things about watching Kim play. Is Kim is very open, right? You know when he's happy, you know when he's sad, and that's one of the joys of it. Simon, to you for the final word, if that suits you.
Sure thing. I mean, just to be irrespective of what streamer you work with, we're not, as a supplier, we're not privy to the back-end affiliate relationships between operator and streamer. From our systems, we see everything as a real money transaction. So it's quite difficult for us to know who's playing with what and what kickbacks or whatever. So that makes it a little bit subjective as to who is doing what. I think the guys have both touched upon two key points, though. Number one, it's about responsible gaming, which is becoming, first and foremost of, just a general industry mindset, representing real play in a safest environment as possible without encouraging any problem gambling. And I think that touches every corner of our industry and something that we naturally are very aware of. And the other one is the front-end representation of your brand. It's no longer just commercial teams represented from to the operator. Now you have a third-party voice who is commenting outwardly to a very large community about your product and service, and you need to, I wouldn't say craft that, but you need to be careful who has that voice and what message are they sending and what is the perception of your brand. And I think that of course means that you have to be careful about who you work with and what freedoms you afford them, because like I said, it's highly competitive industry, multiple hundreds of suppliers, hundreds of games. Your reputation to operator and player is essential, and that needs to be maintained at a very high level, and that obviously means who you work with from a front-end streamer community as well.
Okay, thank you very much. We are approaching 50 minutes, which is about the sensible limit of our timings here. There's a lot more we could talk about. Maybe we will again. I'm very interested in something Johan said about streamers as ambassadors, and something that I think has become clear to me from this conversation and some of the things that all of you have said is actually the responsibility that is placed on streamers and the responsibility that they feel, or certainly that CasinoGrounds feel. And that's maybe something that will be part of the evolution, is that they will have this greater responsibility because they are the face of the industry, not just the face of the operator or the provider, whoever. But that will have to be for another time. Thanks so much for joining us. I felt like we absolutely raced through that and we could have talked for a lot longer. And as I say, maybe we will, but not today because we have used up the opportunity that we've got so far. So thanks so much. Have a great day. I hope you can get some fresh air and get out and about wherever you are. And we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Stewart.
Thanks very much. Cheers.